Hello everyone. Well, it's time for a new project. And what I have in mind this time is a copier table. This would be something that would be sitting alongside an actual desktop table, but this is going to be a standalone. And I have a rough sketch of what it's going to look like here. 26 inches tall, 20 by 16 deep, with a open in the middle, shelf here at the bottom, and a 5.5 inch drawer at the base. Now this is identical almost to a nightstand that I made a few months back, with the exception being that the drawer was on top and this one's going to be at the bottom. That's the only difference. And it's really not going to be anything fancy. I mean, I'm using select pine. Uh, so it's time to get started on it. Wish me luck, huh? All that good stuff. But anyway, ready to start up now. We got our 12-inch front and back pieces that I did one pocket hole. I'm going to need to do the rest of them. What I like to do, I like to mark which side I'm going to be doing the pocket holes on, because as you get them moving around and stuff, you always try to pick the nicest one that's going to be shown on the exterior. And I got them all ready to go. So that's what we're going to do now, and then we'll put it together. So it looks like we're going to have to backtrack a little bit. Yeah. I noticed on that frame that on the right side of those two frames that I made, the two side ones, one of them was off. The leg was not even, it was kind of warped. So that threw off everything. So you know what, I just said, let me just start from scratch on that one. So that's what I'm doing now. And in a way, that's a good thing, because it'll give me an opportunity to kind of go more into detail how I did this, which I didn't get to do previously because of that crazy day I was having yesterday. So here we have our frame. I've already got the top part and the middle part set. What we're going to do, as far as measurements go, we're going to start at the bottom, at the base. We're going to measure 3 inches from the bottom. It's going to be from the floor. And then we're going to take, that's where this brace is going to be, the 1.5 brace by 1.5. So I'm going to measure 1.5 inches from that 3. It's going to give us 4.5. And then we're going to take this 1x6, and that's going to be the panel, the side panel. Okay. But first, I want to make sure we're going to put a couple of paint sticks, and we're going to rest, because we're looking from the inside out right here. We're putting those paint sticks down so we can have, from the outside looking in, you'll have a little inset panel there, about maybe 3/8 of an inch, maybe a little less. That's why we're putting those paint sticks there. So that's going to go there. And we're going to come back with the bottom 2x2. It's going to go just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and drive these pocket holes, and then we'll come back and take a look at it from the other side. Here we go. Good there. Good there. 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 We're back in business. Okay, we're back. Well, I had that crazy day where this thing was all out of line and wonky. I ended up attributing that to a bad leg. It was kind of twisted and a little curved, and I don't know how I missed that. But nevertheless, that was that day that everything was kind of going crazy. So anyway, I got it all straightened out. Everything is squared. Looks a lot better than the other one. It looked like I was blindfolded when I did it. Got that taken care of. I built this drawer box out of 1x6s. Okay. And the bottom, I use a 1/4 inch plywood. I cut the 1/4 inch dados into the sides here of the bottom, and then I slid that 1/4 inch plywood into there. So looks pretty sturdy and strong. The only problem is See how it wobbles back and forth? That's no bueno. So what I'm going to do, I've I've got these. Okay, it's writing on these. That drawer's writing on these wooden slides here on these both sides. What I'm going to do is take one of these and rip it down the middle, and I'm going to put them this way, vertical and horizontal, rather horizontal, and that's going to should at least keep it from wobbling back and forth to the left or the right. We'll do that now. Okay. So I added the wooden railings. I've added one on top, one on bottom here on both sides with the countersink screws to kind of square it off a little bit. I added a little bit of furniture paste wax on the railings to help it kind of glide in and out easier. On to the next step, which is going to be the lower tabletop. Okay, like I said before, I have a 1/2-inch panel board here. I made my little marks so I wouldn't forget where my pocket holes go. I set the stop lock on my drill bit at 1/2 inch to coincide with the width of the panel board. Okay, so I've got the pocket holes drilled. Next step is to attach it. Now, this can get kind of tricky sometimes because you got to be really careful when you drill these pocket holes because the piece you're working on has a tendency to want to shift and move. So what I did here, I took a couple of clamps and I attached them there where the back side of it is also being supported by the clamp itself. Keep this the top from pushing out and keeping it flush with the side with the frame. So we'll see how that works. Moment of truth. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but got a nice flush connection there. That's what we wanted to see. Okay, so we're at the paint stage of this project, and we're going to go with a white. I've had this paint here for a little over a year. It's a bare interior enamel, satin enamel. I remember I had this paint and I went to get a match for it, and when they put the sticker on it, they didn't have the, the color of the paint, the tint. So I'm not sure about it, but I know I've used it, and it looks like this, and I want to say it's either eggshell or biscuit white. I want to say it's biscuit white because I made a few other projects and I know they came out really nice. Everybody liked them. And the style we're going to do is the distress style, where we're going to come first of all, we're going to do the base primer with this espresso color, okay? And then we're going to come back with the white paint and do the distress where it leaves the dark highlights. So it looks really nice. And then the top, I'm not really sure how we're going to do the top. Probably going to stain it somehow, some way. But we'll go with that afterwards. So that's the game plan. So here we are. It's been about 24 hours since I sprayed the primer. So it's had a really good chance to dry. Now I've started doing the paint itself, the final, probably the first of 2 coats. Now, one thing about today is it's really humid outside. So I closed the garage door and I've got my AC unit running to kind of make it a little bit better environment for the paint, lower the humidity a little bit. Moving on. So the paint's had about 24 hours to dry, and I've started doing the sanding. And as you can see, starting to come out. Now, I've been using the 120 grit and the 60 grit. Now, you got to remember I put 3 coats on here, so it's going to take a little bit more of sanding. So I'm going with the heavier grit count, the lower, the 60, makes it a lot easier. Now, if you're doing the corners, of course, that's going to be a lot easier than the flat parts. Now, to what degree you want to do this, it's a personal preference. Okay, so I'm done with the sanding, and I got to, I think, what I need. You know, it's just a matter of how much you want to do or how little you want to do. In my case, I didn't want that much, but this is what I usually go for. The next thing I wanted to do is finish it off with some paste wax, furniture paste wax. Okay, I did it application with a steel wool, the real fine steel wool, 4 zeros. That's the finest you can go. And I did that just now. So now it's been about 10 minutes, and I'm going to start wiping.